rolling. We rolling with the homies. Sarah Chovnick, 2-time Emmy producer, 2-time Emmy-winning producer. Trysta Krick, lifelong shit talker, 0-time Emmy producer. Ollie Krick, 5-month-old puppy, negative Emmys, but we're going to try to get him there. And this is Let Her Shoot, baby.
I'm a hot girl, I'm a hot girl. I get anything I want, this is my world. I make big moves in my big heels. Since the day that I was born, I've been a big deal.
I'm here in Vegas in a new studio. This is the most I've traveled in a long time. And so we are here at the Kiln, just away from the Strip. But it's a pretty nice fucking venue in here. I tell you what, it's nicer than the podcast studio and nicer than my workspace in Portland, which is probably why it's more expensive.
Is it more expensive?
I think like $150 a month more expensive. They have a cappuccino maker in here. I was like, oh, okay, fancy.
You don't have that. You don't have that in Portland.
No. I mean, it's like a legit one where you've got the like, how does anyone figure this out foam, and then they've got a little cooler of all the different creamers. I got some milk because I went to the hotel and got some cookies. It was one of those kind of days. So I just went to the kitchen and helped myself on a Sunday.
Is Ollie enjoying his first trip to the Vegas Strip?
He's a party animal. He's pooped 3 times today, and he's pooped on rock and on sand and on bark chips. So we are coming along in the way of the world. When we went to L.A. 2 weeks ago, he wouldn't poop on anything, except for a rug inside of the condo that I was desperately trying for him not to. And then he peed on my, what's it called, the little like, what is it? The garment bag. He peed on my suitcase garment bag, and I had to like lift it up and then tip it into the bathtub, and then of course it got all over me. And so, no, he's getting better about peeing and pooping in unfamiliar places.
Well, I love to hear that for him.
I love to hear about good stories. We've got a barn burner. We are literally in the middle of recording as Tennessee's playing UCLA, so we've got some tea there.
There's a lot of stuff still going on right now, actually. The U.S. Open finishing up. The College World Series is going on. I'm sure if I looked hard enough, I'd find a soccer game or a basketball game on too, but...
We had a friendly last night, Sarah, that I watched a little of. I didn't realize that China was such a good team because we made them look like they were a bottom-tier team. We were just scoring every 2 seconds. Anyway, intro time. Intro time.
Yeah, go ahead.
We'll get to it. Welcome to Let Her Shoot, the only podcast that covers women's sports the way that we want them covered. That means no bullshit. That means no kid gloves. That means respect for the athletes, the fans, the coaches, the GMs, and all the reasons to stay locked in. Again, like I said, Sarah Chovnick, Trysta Krick. We've got a lot of women's softball to break down. We've got some tea in the WNBA. A lot happening. Are you ready to rumble?
Let's get into it. There was definitely some tea this weekend. The big one really kind of coming out of Washington. It seems like Michelle Kang is playing some switcherooski between coaches, and the head coach of the Washington Spirit, Jonathan Giraldes, is heading over to Lyon and leaving Washington in the middle of the season. So that's a little of a switcherooski up by Michelle Kang to send her coach of one team over to another mid-season. What are your thoughts on that?
For a befuddlement, I guess, is the question. Excuse me, what?
Yeah.
I didn't know you could just trade or move coaches from one league to another league that you own. I feel like there's got to be some rules against that. Did this coach want it? Did Michelle Kang? How does she feel about the Washington Spirit? And also, have you ever you've been a sports fan a long time. Sometimes you can just feel. By the way, you didn't mention anything about how nerdy I look. These are glasses that are headphones.
Yeah, you've got your. Yeah, I know. I'm surprised you're wearing them. Are we getting a
Well,
little
they're
like
fully
BTS?
charged.
Are we getting some BTS of you recording the pod? Is that what we're doing?
No, they're in my ear. My headphones, these ones are dead. And so this is the
Oh.
only
Got it.
move that I had with me. So anyway, as a sports fan, sorry to sidetrack, but you see little crumbs along the way, and you're like, that's not good for this thing. That's not good for this thing. Don't love that for this thing. To me, this is just another signal of why would Trinity Rodman want to stick around on this team.
I just assume, I think my assumption, along with, I would assume most Spirit fans and probably most soccer fans' assumption, is that this right now means that Trinity Rodman will not play for the Spirit again. I mean, she's going to go with her coach.
Does that
I
mean
think
that she's
it does.
already told them hey, this is not happening for me?
I don't know. I mean, in my eyes, why not? You like this management, you like this ownership, you like this coach, just go with this team. You're moving the coaching staff, you're moving, and the ownership group is already there. Why not just go there? I mean, her doctors, like we've been told, are over there already. So her boyfriend plays a lot in the UK, plays in Europe. So, I mean, why not? Why not just go over there? Doesn't that make sense? I mean, that's how I see it. There's no reason for her, in my eyes, to hurry up and get back on the field for Washington this season when there's no coach there now. And I don't love this. We're going to trade. We're third place right now in the NWSL, and we're just going to go ahead and send our coach during the summer break to a different team.
Yeah, it is shitty. Honestly, if you're an NWSL fan and you're a Washington Spirit fan, we love Trinity Rodman, of course, but I don't really give a fuck if she goes to Lyon or not. I want to see her play in my country. I want to see her play. If I live in DC, which I just moved from, I want to see her play in DC. Yes, I wish the best for Trinity. But as a Washington Spirit fan, you've got to say, what are we? What are we, chopped liver? We're still right in it.
We're still in it.
This is a very competitive league. And you're just literally just packing your suitcase. You're just shutting it down, basically doing the Ollie lay on his back surrender monkey. We're just calling it quits in the summer break. That's insane.
And Michelle Kang had said to Forbes in the past, quote, "We're not going to sacrifice one team to make another team successful. Our goal is to make every team the champion of their leagues." But you're taking your coach away from a team that is quite literally in the prime driving seat for a championship, and you're taking him away mid-season and saying, we don't really care about the NWSL Shield that much.
Yeah, I would be pissed. And I think even as a fan just of general women's sports as a whole, I'm not stoked. I'm particularly not stoked. And there's not a lot of information about why it's happening. There's no real reasoning about why it's happening right now. It does feel a little like the world revolves around Trinity only. That's the only thing that you can think of.
And Michelle Kang said in March, no, I'm not moving her over. It's important that she stay in Washington. But it's a contract season. To me, it seems like a forceful, it's a contract season. It's up to Trinity if she wants to renew her contract in Washington or move somewhere else. But we're not going to have the same resources in Washington for her anymore. So it doesn't really they're not giving her incentive to stay, in my eyes.
No.
In my personal opinion.
Wild stuff, honestly. I'm surprised this isn't bigger news.
Well, we've got too many Angel Reese things to talk about in big news networks to actually cover the rest of sports.
Fair enough. Fair point.
Fair enough. Did you see what speaking of Angel and Caitlin, and we're going to now extend this to Dijonai. Did you see Dijonai Carrington's getting security called on her this weekend in Dallas?
Oh my goodness. I did see it. I've never seen that though in my life in a WNBA game where a ref is terrified of the player And so they just go ahead and get security, she's getting too close to me. I don't like that.
Yeah, so Dijonai tweeted, security when I'm literally having a civil conversation is insane. Mind you, he called and then she does the way she writes security is like, do you remember the security? Back from Mad TV, like. Security! Yeah, what was her, Angela Johnson? Security! Security! So she said he called the security over and hashtagged it microaggression.
The hashtag microaggression.
That says
tells you everything that you need to know. To me, it says that Dijonai knows based on how she is in the league, her mannerisms, the way that she carries herself, her vernacular, her style of play,
her nails,
her long nails,
her style,
the lashes, the hair, everything. You're right.
Her makeup.
It's her makeup. It's all packaged in a way that only from the hashtag, and I don't know, I've never heard her speak about this, and I'm only getting it from hashtag all caps microaggression, that she believes that she's being somewhat targeted. And she's being targeted as like an aggressive, scary, intimidating, quote unquote dangerous, because you would only get security if you thought someone was going to put hands on you.
And when you watch this video, it's so like she's having a conversation that you've seen Caitlin Clark have with officials at essentially every game she's ever played in. I mean, have you ever seen a game where Caitlin Clark is not arguing with the officials at some point or another during the game?
Excuse me, and even games she's not playing in.
Oh,
I don't
right.
know if you saw this
her
weekend.
Run out onto the court.
She's walking onto the court and she's literally motherfucking the refs.
Up and down. Yeah, up and down.
Doing all this, telling them, reading them the riot act, and she's in street clothes.
She's in street clothes.
If Dijonai was in street clothes,
they would have had her escorted out of the arena. They would have had her escorted off the court. Because the way this ref jumps behind a security guard is like, sir, first of all, why is there a security guard even on the court to begin with in that interaction? Like, you have two white men hiding behind each other because a black girl has passion about something she's talking about. We've seen this a million times in a million different places, and microaggression is accurate.
It's actually the right word. That's actually the complete correct word. I'm surprised nobody asked her about the tweet.
I'm glad she called it out, though.
Same. And I think Dijonai's tired of remember, I don't know if you remember, you probably do. Remember when Dijonai accidentally scratched Caitlin Clark?
I don't think I do, no.
And everybody thought that it was on purpose. And she was going up for a block, and she raked her across the the face. And I'm not a fan, but I'm also young enough to know that Christine Brennan doesn't need to be the Caitlin Clark police. But Christine Brennan, friend of show, I worked with her for many years at USA Today. Lovely person. Been covering women's sports for a long time. Been covering the Olympics and sports in general for 35 plus years or whatever it is. But she came up to Dijonai and she's like, "Did you do that on purpose?" And Dijonai's like, "What? No." And she's like, "Well, you were smirking after." And she's like, "Is this a serious question? I'm surprised you don't remember this."
No.
Let me find it. Fox News, of course, is the first article. Dijonai Carrington, Caitlin Clark's teammate, appeared to joke. Oh, so it was Nalissa and Carrington. Apparently, they say that they were joking around after she poked Caitlin Clark in the eye. Okay. And Carrington struck Clark while trying to block a pass. Slow motion footage shows Carrington bending her hand while coming down, pointing her nails into Clark's face. And then in a recent Instagram live video, Carrington and her girlfriend, Nalissa Smith, were in their kitchen when Smith poked Carrington in the eye. And, "Oh, you poked me in the eye," Carrington said. Smith apologized and the two laughed. "Did you do it on purpose?" So, they were just kind of making fun at the fact that everyone thought that Dijonai was doing this in a malicious way. Even Caitlin Clark was like, why are you asking me about this? So I think Dijonai's been villainized for a while now, a year now, or whatever it is. And truthfully, I think her calling it out is sort of the perfect time. I've been waiting for Dijonai to be like, I'm kind of being unfairly critiqued here. And
it reminded me of this moment. Okay. I know you didn't watch Love Island, but I did not. There was a moment in Love Island, which by the way starts in like 2 days. So I do expect you to watch this next season. Okay. Last year on Love Island, there were, the way that they have, there's like a group of girls. There's a couple white girls. There's a couple black girls. At one point, they get into an argument about something. And one of the black girls, like points her finger. And it's just like, she's like, no, you said that. And the white girl jumps behind another guy. And it turned into, she was like, like on the internet, it turned into in the house, she was like, that's a microaggression. And she's like, no, it's not. And she's like, yeah, yes, it is. When you act that way, whether you realize it or not, what you're doing is you're spreading this message that I'm a dangerous person because I have a voice. And that's what that moment reminded me of, was that entire scene on Love Island. But anyway, that was
such a brilliant take. Such a smart segue. I didn't ever think we would get to that little full circle moment of Love Island and how it's applicable to the WNBA, but you learn more every day. I think that's exactly right. And you see even how Dijonai Carrington is labeled and spoken about and written about on the internet, is that she has a history of being,
she's hood.
Yeah, she's ghetto. She has a history of antagonizing other players. You know who has a history of antagonizing other players? Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark. I told you the same story. I'll tell it over and over and over again. I have people I know that work for the Indiana Pacers who own the Indiana Fever, and they told me, hey, Trysta, have you ever seen Caitlin Clark up close? Have you ever seen her, like 2 rows away and watched her play? And I was like, no, I've never seen her like that. And they're like, you must watch this. It's remarkable how inflammatory and aggressive and unhinged that, and this is their team and their Golden Goose player. They're like, she's unhinged out there. She will call out anyone. She will cuss her own dad out. She'll put her finger in her brother's face like Dijonai or the girl from the Love Island, and no one's like, ooh, I'm not, So it's same action, different result, which is kind of like full circle in terms of why we discuss Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark in the same breath. They have nothing to do with each other except for that how they're covered is dependent on your perceptions of who they are based on so many other things that you've gone through and your lens on the world, and there's a lot of like racial undertones behind it.
Well, it just goes back to when the league is sitting there and saying, we're going to investigate these racist things going on with the Fever, and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. But then there's no action taken on things like this Dijonai Carrington. The ref still has not made a statement as to why he felt it necessary to call security on a player for arguing a foul. By the way, most ridiculous. I mean, like, just that sentence in and of itself is a ridiculous thing to say. The WNBA.
And honestly, even if she was quote unquote aggressive, what is she really going to do to you? You're really afraid when there's grown men, like 7 feet tall guys, and they are very strong, very powerful, very aggressive, and they've never had the security called on them one time.
Let me tell you,
even from female refs.
Let me tell you a female ref story real quick, because I went to a DC Defenders game. To tell me. Yeah, I went to a DC Defenders game this past weekend, and for work, not for pleasure. So I was down on the sideline with the DC team, and so earlier in the day I had met this woman whose name is escaping me right now, but she was the first ever official Black woman to officiate the Big 12.
Lachelle Nelson. It says Lachelle Nelson, first Black woman to referee a Big 12 conference game.
She's a woman. She's officiating. End of the first drive, the Battlehawks and the Defenders down on the 3-yard line, and it was very clearly a pass interference call against the defenders. I mean, like, I saw it from a million miles away, and I was like, she's going to throw the flag. And sure enough, tosses the flag. As soon as she does, the chants in the stands are, make me a sandwich. And I looked over at my audio guy, and I said, are they chanting, make me a sandwich? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I just wanted to make sure I'm not hearing that. And it was one of those moments where you were like, this is why we need this kind of thing. This is why we need people to call out microaggressions, because these types of things continue to happen. And for example, we talk about, why do we need a Pride Night? Well, take a look in the Indiana Fever comments, and you will see exactly why we need to have a Pride Night and a Pride Month, because, oh dear God.
Read some of them to me.
Read some of them? Oh God, okay, I took a couple screenshots earlier.
I need to see them. I need to know.
So, and most of them, so one from Tweets33 says, nope, moving on.
Oh.
Okay.
Moving on. Okay.
Highland_anew said, ugh, so sick of gay pride being shoved in our faces. It's about basketball, not your personal life.
Okay.
Somebody with a bunch of letters and numbers said, 7 American flag emojis. Only flag that needs to be seen. Oh. Why? And then Jams12131899 said, why? With about 10 exclamation points and question marks after. Why do they have to make it about LTBQ? So that's not even the right order of the letters. That is going to turn off fans who don't associate with gay. That's a whole lot of Christians not watching or showing up.
How do you feel about losing Christians from the WNBA?
Oh, please, don't go. I mean, please
don't leave us. No,
leave. It's kind of like when people comment on our posts and they're like, you lost me, I'm unfollowing. And it's like, okay, do you want me to argue with you? Like, if you don't want to be here, no one wants you here, FYI. Like, if you want to, if you, indie star, says, now I'm not watching, well, we don't give a shit. Okay? That indie star, number one indie star, is not watching. Because if you can't love the team, if you can't love the team for all the players on the team, then don't watch the team. Don't watch the team.
Kambui Bamani, he said this is perfect. Comment section crashing out about this is the equivalent of them getting upset about a historically black college having Black History program on campus.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you're literally watching a league that's 40% LGBTQ, and you're upset
and that's just out. That's just out. We found out apparently over the weekend that there are certain players that aren't out.
we need to talk about this. So there was a little meme floating around the internet, and it was a point system assigned based on how gay your team is. And each element of gayness, like ally, or if you have an MVP that's out, you get 2 points, or legends that...
My favorite was the one for Dijonai and Tasha Cloud's girlfriend that only got half a point because they identify as straight but date women.
Straight but dates women. I'm trying to find this. Each of the teams given 4 points for openly gay players, 1 point for players using they, them pronouns, 2 points for openly gay coaches, etc. Based on the calculations, they ranked the New York Liberty and the Seattle Storm with 20 points each. Jonquel Jones wasn't happy about the ranking and posted a comment saying the Liberty should have more points. While protesting, she brought up Maureen Johannes' sexuality, saying that should be included if Gabby Williams is included, which I'm not really sure why that's the case. And she goes, how is Gabby on the list but not Maureen? Jalen Sherrod, Leo as well, which is Leona Febich, which she's definitely not out. And then she goes, we number 1, and we also have 4 out of our starting 5 that are gay. And I was like, I don't think
anyone knew that. No.
So it's just Sabrina that's not gay?
And then they started calling them the Liberty Lesbians and Sabrina.
And then the fans pointed out, like, hey, we didn't know these people were gay. And Jonquel responded, I thought they was out. LMAO, my bad.
They're out now, apparently. It's not funny.
The tweet.
You can't
delete the tweet, but it lives forever. You've now outed all your teammates.
I hope that she is buying the best Pride Month presents for every single one of them for doing that.
Yo, because that was livid. If I saw that and I'm like, Phoebich isn't even back yet. I think she's still overseas.
That's called catching strays right there. That's
for what? For an internet game.
Because she was pissed that the Liberty was not ranked higher. She wanted credit for those points. She was pissed. And then did you see that Alana Smith from the Minnesota Lynx, they had like counted her and then she had to publicly come out as straight because she was like, I don't know where y'all got this information, but I'm sorry, I'm straight. But I am an ally though. It's gonna get, this Pride Month's gonna get messy. I feel like that's not the first outing we're gonna get, and it's probably not gonna be the last.
It's June 1st.
It's June 1st.
You know what just came out? I don't know if you saw it. All of the SI swimsuit photos.
I did see those.
How you feel about those? There's a lot of athletes in those. Showing off their abs, showing off their ripped bodies in the swimsuit issue. Kind of dope, though. It's like as weird as it is for men to ogle our athletes in this like very sexual way, it has become something athletes aspire to. It's something that, like, for example, somebody that I know that works for Peloton just got on the swimsuit issue and walked down the runway last night. And despite everything that people thought in the early days or maybe 10, 15 years ago and said about how degrading the SI swimsuit issue is, how it was like, why is that the top performing thing that Sports Illustrated does? Now it's almost like come back into vogue.
I think it's that thing of women reclaiming their sexuality. Like it's not for men. And I think most women would say that is that their sexuality is not for men. The way that they present themselves is not for men. It's for themselves. It's for other women. It's for empowerment. That's what it is. It's for pride. And I think there were a couple in there that surprised me that
I'd like to know which ones those are.
Nelly Korda surprised me just because I know how shy
Adrian,
she is.
can we pull up the slideshow? Okay, so the thing I didn't know about Jordan Childs was how much she was into flowers and tattoos all over her body. She has the one kind of on the glute / hamstring thing. She's got them on her rib cage. She's got a big ass rose on her forearm. I think that's a snake. That one looks like more homemade than I would have imagined. It's a lot more tats than I would have imagined.
Listen, some people have homemade janky looking ass tattoos and we don't talk about it. Okay?
We just don't mention it.
We just don't talk about it.
Don't talk about this one anymore. Alice, my best friend from growing up, had her name AP9 on it, and now she's tried to like cover it up after the fact, and it's not working. She's covered it in red. So like we just don't talk about it anymore. She has to wear her shoulders out. We just don't talk about it.
As someone who unfortunately was a victim of the mid-2000s tramp stamp era,
damn,
I get it.
Can we talk about Nelly Korda for a second? Where's our button? Ooh, she bad.
She kind of bad, though.
This one was the one that was surprising to me. Not because Nelly looks so good. It was surprising to me because Nelly is so shy and she's so reserved. And she's not someone who that you would think is gonna be a smoke show in a bikini issue. And you're like, all right, Nelly, I see you.
The eyes, as someone who has a hard time with photos and just, general body stuff, I'm like, she looked very comfortable for the cameraman, and you have to get super comfortable to be in your little skivvies. And I guess you can kind of see that she maybe has some like shyness to her because her top of her bathing suit was basically just a crop top, tight Under Armour shirt. But she did the damn thing. Her abs are going crazy. Her rib cage and her glute insertion. I'm like a big body anatomy fan, and just in general. And like she's killing it, and her facial expression is great. She just looks very like.
She looks comfy.
She looks comfy. She looks like, come sit next to me.
Who else looks comfy but Livy Dunn, who may as well just like be employed by Sports Illustrated at this point because she deserves to be a model. I mean, she has the poses down.
What I liked about Livy Dunn's bathing suit was what is this even called? It's like the bejeweled on the. I feel so wrong zooming in. So you just, the bedazzled, bejeweled sort of bikini bottom with the leopard print, sort of cheetah print, multicolor, looking in the back. They look warm. Her hair looks like she's used a ton of dry shampoo. Grit spray.
There is nothing in this world that I wish more than I could get my hair to have that like just dried from the beach look and like.
Yeah, just like sort of.
My hair, it would not look like that at all. Not at all.
Let's talk about Hailey Van Lith's. I'm not sure about this one.
Is it the one piece or is it?
It's the pose. It's the one piece plus the pose. This is someone that you would imagine would be Nelly Cordes.
Right.
Like, ooh, kind of stiff, kind of wooden. Maybe she's not ready. Not a lot of like emotion in her face. What did she want to do this photo shoot? Because she's looking like, please send help.
Please send help.
Look at her eyes.
Alona kills it every year.
She looks just like a bundle of joy, doesn't she?
Yeah, first of all, I love Alona's confidence just across the board. I think everyone would do a little bit better with Alona's dose of confidence. And she does. She just radiates joy. She radiates like positivity and exudes that like,
The thing that I liked about it too was it looks like Alona's about to go do some fun shit. She's like, I'm in Bali. I just got out of the water. I got my bathing suit on and my shoes. I'm about to get on this scooter with all my stuff in the basket, and we're going to do something really fun. Come through. Come with me. This is my little beach house with the beautiful little tree in the front yard. What a great setup. Everybody else is kind of a blah little background. She's got like I like Alona. I want to hang out with Alona.
Gabby Thomas.
Wow.
Let me tell you.
She's basically naked.
Can I just tell you, if I were Gabby Thomas, you would not be able to tell me anything. Like,
no.
There is not a criticism in this world that I would accept from another human being if I were Gabby Thomas. She is a Harvard-educated biomedical engineer. She is the fastest woman in the world, and she looks like that.
Yeah, and she's apparently, according to you, very sweet and
she's
genteel.
The nicest person I've ever met in my life.
Some people just get it all, Some people get everything.
Last year at Athlos, which super excited because Sha'Carri announced that she's joining Athlos and that they're doing this whole like team ownership player. I love it. Athlos is the best. I cannot stress that enough. It was truly the single-handed greatest working experience of my entire life working on that project last year. But Athlos, when I met her last year, because, she's part of like the group that really got Athlos going. And I met her after the Megan Thee Stallion concert. They threw like a private Megan Thee Stallion concert for the athletes and like, the people that were there. And mind you, it's like rainy, it's hot. She's got to be exhausted. It's probably like 1:00 in the morning. And she comes over and she thanks us for everything. And she's like, let's take a picture. And she takes a picture and it's not a good picture. And she's like, I'm sorry, we have to get a better one. And she like moves to a different spot. I'm clearly much shorter than Gabby Thomas. So she takes the phone from me and she does it.
How tall is she?
She's gotta be close to 6 feet. 5'11" maybe, I want to say.
Okay. And you're what? 5 foot even.
Okay. That's not even remotely accurate, and you know that. And this is a very sensitive topic for me. She just is. She's just the most genuine, kind-hearted person that I've met in the sports world. Truly.
And she kills it in the cover shoot.
And she
really.
kills it.
Like,
and she looks like that.
That bathing suit is... When you can wear basically just straps, and straps, as we all know as women, it doesn't matter how little fat you have. The strap is going to find a crease. And then the stuff on the other side of the strap starts to kind of push out and protrude. Doesn't matter how lean you are. But not Gabby.
No.
It's basically like that suit was painted on Gabby. She looks terrific. Her hair's perfect. Every 10, no notes.
All right, let's move on from tea. There's nothing really going on in soccer this weekend in terms of the NWSL. They're on an international break. The women's national team played China yesterday.
I watched
in
it.
what was a 3-0
thump.
Yeah, it was a 3-0 thumping, and there were some really fun stories that came out of it. Really, the big one is Lola Bonta got her first start at 32 and change, and she's been a favorite of the NWSL for years, and you may not know her. However, I know for a fact that you are familiar with her, what she does on the field. Not her goal scoring, but her celebrations, because her celebrations she's become an icon of the celebration that has transitioned into the NFL. So the fake hammy into the twerk that went really popular.
Oh, yeah.
That was her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was her.
Wow.
I think one of cause she plays, for Kansas City, and I want to, the current. But she truly is. She is a fan favorite and always has been in the NWSL. And she had a quote after the game about how emotional she got. She got chills going out onto the field because she got a standing ovation from the fans. She came in the 70th minute, so she didn't get a ton of playing time. She didn't get a ton of significant touches, but it was just really that journeyman story of, she's been working at her craft. She's 32. She has wanted to get on the national team her entire life, and she finally made her first cap, and it was really exciting. The game itself was, like you said, it was a thumping.
I didn't know China was listen, as someone who just kind of doesn't keep track, and I know this sounds bad for podcast hosts for women's sports, but I can't keep up with everything. But I didn't know that China was this good of a team. Aren't they?
I mean, they're not.
No, they're not good.
They're not that good. They're 17th. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
okay, so they're not that good.
No, they're not. It's not like, it's not, we weren't playing Japan. We weren't playing Brazil. We weren't playing Germany. But it was still a good showing. It was kind of a new crop. Emma Hayes has been, she's really been trying to get the midfield hammer down. That's been a big sore spot. And two of the 3 goals came from the midfield. Lindsay Heap scored and Sam Coffey scored. So I think it was really good to see Naomi Girma, the Secretary of Defense, was back in action. Yeah. You love Naomi Girma.
I almost see her and I'm like, I feel connected to her,
I think that's just you.
Weird. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was cool. It was a good friendly. It just popped up out of nowhere. There wasn't a lot of promotion. It was just on my TV screen on a random Saturday afternoon. Great stuff. It was exactly what I wanted in the middle of what was a lull in softballs, maybe. And listen, I don't know a lot because I haven't watched a lot, but this seems like this weekend was pretty damn exciting in college softball. We had Tennessee, Oklahoma. We had Oregon, UCLA. Then we had Oregon, Ole Miss. And there was just exciting stuff all around on the heels of Major League Baseball just purchasing an equity stake in the Athletes Unlimited Softball League, where we've talked about Kim Ng multiple times, the former Yankees executive taking over as commissioner. And that's very exciting. It opens June 7th. And Michaela Edenfeld, who we were supposed to get on the podcast, she did DM me back about an hour ago and said she's sorry for not responding, but her schedule will open up when they get their first break around the 11th of June. She's playing for the Volt, as we know.
So we'll get some wrap up World Series thoughts on that. And also, I want to hear all about this new league, because we've gotten a couple comments like on our pages that's like, man, I love softball, because we've been like, the Daily W Sports has been like, we are a softball fan account right now. I mean, we love softball, and we've all gotten really into it, our whole staff. And I think it's become kind of the highlight for the last couple of weeks for us all. And a couple people have commented like, man, this is such a bummer that this is going to end after next week. Like, I want more softball. There's got to be a pro league, and there is. And people just don't know about it. Just don't know about it. But we had some pretty exciting. Let's start with that Tennessee-Oklahoma matchup. Walk off. It was 3-1 going into the bottom of the 7th.
Sends it out deep center field. Ella Parker walks it off for Oklahoma.
And I didn't see it, but I got about 15 texts at the same time about the ending of that game.
Yeah, just an insane stuff. Like, Oklahoma, at this point, you're thinking to yourself, when they walk it off, are they just unbeatable? Are they a team that no matter how much they're down in the 7th inning, even if they have to go into extra innings, they've got the firepower to even come out and rake against Tennessee's fireballer, flamethrower, Carlin Pickens, who threw the fastest recorded pitch in women's softball history at almost 80 miles per hour. Very exciting stuff. Very exciting stuff. And then, I don't know if you have a take on that, but then, not to be outdone, we also then get to see Oklahoma go down. And now they're in the losers bracket.
Now they're in the losers bracket. They play your Oregon Ducks.
I hate that. I hate it so much.
I think they actually probably just started the game, so we'll TBD what happens there. I guess winner plays our girl Nyjah Kennedy in Texas Tech, who, I'm sorry, as media, I'm unbiased. Unofficially, I want to see Nyjah Kennedy. I want to see her holding up that trophy, because she's just so electric to watch. But as we've been recording this, UCLA is officially out.
UCLA officially out. It was a crazy game. They were losing 4-2. Carlin Pickens was pitching in that one too. And then you have 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. Megan Grant hits a game-tying 2-run homer. And then, as all of her teammates are surrounding home plate to celebrate with her and give her a high five and let her do the whole thing, she just steps over home plate. And then one of her teammates has to push her back onto home plate. And now Tennessee's hoping that they're going to take the score away, and then the refs, or the umpires, have to go on this long review, and they're like, actually, no, she did touch home plate, and her teammate did touch her and push her back, but the interference call or whatever, because your teammate's not supposed to push you, that part's not reviewable. And then Tennessee tried to dispute it, and then they were like, well, actually, this part's not reviewable, so you can't protest. I'm sorry, that's it.
There have been some really wild occurrences. Like there was another really crazy thing that happened in the 2nd inning of that same game, UCLA Tennessee, where there was a infield pop-up, and I'm unsure of the rule, and it was very clear that everyone else on the field was also very unsure of this rule and what it really understood. But there was one out, and somehow the girl, she looks up, she's trying to catch it. She doesn't see the ball. It goes through her glove, hits the ground. So the girl on second tries to steal third. And as she's stealing third, the girl picks it up, throws it to third base, and the runner from the first base advances to second, and the girl that was on second just walked off the field and back into the dugout. And it ended up, because she walked off the field of play before being tagged, it counted as an extra out. Inning was over. There was a girl in scoring position, and UCLA
crazy.
Bit themselves in the foot because they were 1 out, girl in scoring position and on third. And she walks off thinking that the inning was over. And
that's
it's
insane.
Like, I don't know if she didn't see that it had been caught. I don't know what was going on. It was obviously very it wasn't, she didn't realize, and the coach is telling her to go back to the dugout, and it was just obviously like a big problem. So UCLA theoretically probably should have won that game.
Yeah.
And Tennessee just kept getting chance after chance. Carlin Pickens at one point rolled her ankle while pitching, and I thought she wasn't going to come back and play again, but she did, and she ended up pitching 3 innings of shutout to win, which is insane. I mean, it was also Texas Tech. I know you didn't watch this game last night, but Nyjah Kennedy, again, just almost unhittable. She had a double in the 5th inning. Her ERA is .86 so far on this season. But in the most dramatic play, Tech scored on a double steal.
Wow.
Runner stole home. And it was the best sell. The real hats off goes to the batter, who somehow figured out exactly where to stand so that the catcher and the coach couldn't see the girl running towards home.
That's crazy.
That was the best part of it. And they didn't even know she was there. She slid in between her legs to get there.
Yeah, I saw the highlights of that. That's electric content. And that's not even counting. And by the way, big Texas Tech fan here as well. I want Texas Tech to win the whole thing. Nyjah Kennedy, compared to Carlin Pickens, who's awesome, Nyjah Kennedy's just head and shoulders better than everyone else. And then that's not even taking into consideration the Oregon-UCLA game that was also crazy, where it looked like there was home plate interference by UCLA. UCLA lost their damn mind, and then all of a sudden in extra innings, UCLA had a big hit. I don't know. I think it might have been a home run. I forget. It was just a few days now.
Yeah, it was the lefty Gonzalez.
Yes,
I think
Gonzalez is
what
a
they
beast.
call her. Yeah, I love this moment. They showed she hit a home run against Tennessee, and again they ended up losing, but her dad, someone who caught the ball in the outfield, brought the ball to her dad, and her dad just like had this look on his face, and I was like, man, that really has to be probably one of the top 5 experiences as a parent, is a dad getting your daughter's softball home run ball from the World Series. Like, that has to be incredible.
Top three moment,
if not top moment that you could ever have. I mean, I know my dad would probably be crying if that ever happened to him. I mean, I would not be hitting not from me. If he had another daughter that was good at sports, from her.
This is the craziest weekend of all women's sports, because we don't even really have time to talk about the W, but I do want to say this. Paige Bueckers going into concussion protocol, and now is going to miss 2 games, and it just kind of got swept under the rug, is insane. And this is with a Dallas team that's already struggling. So that's definitely news that WNBA fans should be aware of and keep their eye on how Dallas struggles along the way. And also you might want to wonder, okay, if this is Arike Gumbuwale's contract year, if this is a year that we're probably going to call a wash, at what point do you just kind of throw in the towel?
I wonder if Front Office Sports is going to demand that fans get a refund for Wings games that Paige isn't playing in the same way that they did for Fever games that Caitlin Clark isn't playing in. Did you see that, by the way?
I did. It's absurd. This is absurd.
It's absurd. To demand that the WNBA refund fans because a player is injured is, I mean, listen, as someone who understands how much it sucks when a player gets hurt or goes out for a season, or, gets traded the second you buy their jersey or the tickets to the game. Hello, I have a Juan Soto and Bryce Harper and Max Scherzer jersey in my closet that are completely unusable but I get it. You can't refund. That's not how sports works.
That's how sports
happen.
bettors try to do it too. Or they're like, hey, you should just refund my bet because
No.
I thought there was a potential in the women's UFC fight last night that the BetMGM was just going to take my money because I had a parlay with my guy Gamrot, who ended up winning and by submission. And then I had Erin Blanchfield, I had her by decision. And then Macy Barber went down with like a seizure or whatever it was. And so a lot of times sports books will just take the money altogether. They'll just not void the bet. They'll just say it was a losing bet. And you have sports fans all over the place being like, you should refund our money. You should refund our money. Draymond Green only played 1 minute.
A couple other little notes from around women's sports. Maya Stark won the U.S. Women's Open, edged Nelly Korda out by just 2 shots again while we were on this. And kind of a bummer. I was hoping to see Nelly pull out another major. I think it's great for women's sports, but Maya Stark is a great girl, and it's her first major. She's Swedish, but Nelly came close, but just couldn't quite get it done.
Didn't watch a moment of that except for some of the like highlights after she went into second place on Friday, I want to say. She's playing good golf. For a lefty, I think I would want her swing. I've decided that she's not a lefty. I want it. Well, they must have had her on.
They had her flipped then.
They had her flipped. Why would they do that? Why would they have her flipped? That's crazy. Anyway, her swing's the swing I want.
I mean, her swing is, I think everyone would take Nelly Korda's swing if you could.
Well, yeah, but there's a lot of professional golfers that I might not want their swing. I don't want Jim Furyk's swing.
I was just about to say, you wouldn't take Jim Furyk's swing?
No, I wouldn't take Jim Furyk's swing. I wouldn't take VJ swing.
VJ? Would you take Imby Park's swing?
You know what? So interesting that you say that. When I was playing my best golf, all I did... You're not going to believe this. All I did was channel Imby Park.
You did the pause?
I would go,
the Hideki?
I would literally take a backswing and I would try to say the word California in the backswing. And then I would pause at the top and then go. That was when I was playing my best golf. California, pause, go. And that
Why
was
don't you do it anymore?
I don't play golf anymore because I'm a lame. I'm a lame-o.
All right, well... One last thing I wanted to talk about, because I meant to bring this up back when we were talking about the Dijonai and all that, but I think it's kind of the theme of today's episode, I would say, is women no longer putting up with the bullshit. So tennis, French Open is also going on right now. We've got a major in women's golf. We've got a major in women's tennis going on right now, French Open. But the biggest story not going on the court. So Ons Jabeur, who is, by the way, welcomed on our pod anytime, spoke out during a press conference saying that women's matches were not being scheduled in primetime slots. And to which the French Tennis Federation claims they were simply doing what was best for fans, and implying that fans prefer to watch men's tennis versus women's tennis. She then followed up with a statement, and I'm just going to read you some highlights. But when a woman plays with power, they're told to play like men, as if strength, speed, or aggression doesn't belong in a women's game. If they celebrate, they're dramatic. If they don't, they're cold, too emotional, too distant, too loud, too quiet, too much, never just right. And yet the game keeps rising. Coco Gauff leads with fearless belief. Arina Sabalenka strikes with unmatched power. Iga Swiatek dominates with calm and precision. Jessica Pegula brings relentless consistency. Venus and Serena Williams broke barriers and then broke records. Honoring one side of the sport should not mean ignoring the other. The women's game has been writing its own legacy loudly, brilliantly, and for far too long without full recognition. I love that she did not just allow them to get away with what is a bullshit statement.
Yeah, anytime I was talking about this last night with Angel McCautry and some other folks that we were with, and women's sports is the only arena that's a money-making proposition where the response as to why the investment in time, energy, or money is not there is because the interest isn't already there. First and foremost, with women's tennis, that's not accurate. Women's tennis is a superior product to men's tennis, period. It always has been in my lifetime. That's why I got into tennis. It wasn't because of Andy Roddick. It was because of Serena and Venus. And that's the case for women's soccer over American men's soccer as well. But even if that was true, what you do if you're trying to grow a sport is you put it in front of people in order for them to respond and to give them an opportunity to love and be interested in the sport. That's how you don't shrink market share, especially considering you want both leagues to succeed. That's bullshit to me. It's just and I think factually incorrect.
It is factually incorrect. And I also think that like these ideals that we're holding on to, that like men's sports is superior, is like dwindling by the minute. And I think what the most difficult thing for a lot of people to grasp onto is that this narrative they've been peddled for the last forever is not valid. And I think it's just turned them completely on their sides. And I think that more than ever, we're now seeing a world of women in athletics who are not going to hide their passion for their craft in the way that has Caitlin Clark running on to the court in street clothes to tell a ref that they're wrong, in the way that Dijonai Carrington is arguing about a foul. It's
Or Serena, which we didn't talk about, but also worth noting, Serena going up to the ref just today, even though they're up 50 on the Connecticut Sun, and showing, hey, my ponytail usually is in the middle of my head, and it's all the way on the side of my head. How do you think it fucking got there? Are you serious? So yeah, that passion is something that I think this generation of women are not willing to mute or downplay.
It goes back to, what we kind of founded this podcast on, in the belief of we have to stop sugarcoating women's sports. We have to treat it like sports. And these women should be allowed to treat their sport in the same way that men treat it. They should be allowed to have the passion. They should be allowed to have the anger. We don't see Sergio Garcia smashing his club into the side of, now given there are a lot of people who don't like Sergio Garcia. However, you don't hear like, what a terrible sport. You don't hear that about LeBron when he's doing his, at everyone. You don't get that like, oh, this is poor sportsmanship. I saw a thing the other day. There was a walk-off, and I think it was D3 college softball for the championship, and the girl walked it off. She got a home run. She goes into the base, and she kind of like stands over the catcher and is like, yells something, and all the comments are like, this is a disgrace for women, this is an embarrassment for women. And it's like, this is women having
why
passion.
that is, right?
God forbid women have feelings.
You know what that is, though, is it's just this obsession that women be quote unquote ladylike in every way. And that if you stray from what we anticipate and expect women to behave, and you get closer to how we expect hyper alpha men to behave, then that is worth clutching our pearls over.
It is a threat to the patriarchy, and they don't like it.
Fuck them. That's what I have to say. Good way to end the pod at fuck them. That's what all right, y'all. It was a great episode. We covered a lot. And honestly, we had so much more we could have covered, which just shows you why this podcast needs to exist, is that these stories aren't being covered almost anywhere. So why don't you do us a favor and smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, share with your friends. How about you talk about it in our comment section? Find us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Nope, not Twitter. Excuse me. Twitter's done. Threads. Did I miss one, Sarah?
YouTube.
Oh, yes, that's what it is. And YouTube. That's the big one. Find us, follow us, subscribe to us on YouTube. Thank you guys all for listening. Thank you guys all for commenting. And we will see you next week.
Let her shoot.
Let her shoot!
I'm a hot girl, I'm a hot girl. I get anything I want, this is my world. I make big moves in my big heels. Since the day that